Unleashing Your Unique is a roadmap to guide you to become that man, that woman that can have a great impact on the world. Your brand is really who you are, and is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Let me tell you something, our story is what makes us unique. And that is why we need to share it more, because it helps you, it helps others, but the impact that story has on lives could transform a nation. It could also create so much opportunities and doors for you that you didn't even realize could happen.
So I want to start this episode by saying, get this book, Unleash Your Unique by Josh Rudder. And that's what we have on today's episode. Listen, I wish I read this book before having a conversation with Josh. We didn't even get into the stuff we need to get into with this book. So listen, write in the chat one time, we need Josh back on, right? So Josh is an author and a brand strategist. And listen, the question that he's answering today is, what makes you different from the rest? And number two, why should anyone choose you? In a world where everybody has a degree, some kind of skill set, and everybody posting online, like no, Josh is here to help us find clarity and purpose in building our personal brand. So in this conversation, and definitely in the book, Josh challenges us in how we see ourselves, our story, and our value. As Josh would say, your story isn't random, it is your advantage. And if you don't know how to use it, you're gonna get overlooked. So let's jump into today's conversation with author Josh Rudder. First and foremost, powerful cover.
Thank
the
you.
picture,
Thank you.
the red, and this book is already unique to me, right? What inspired this whole feel, the look, and then we'll get into the contents of the book.
Right. So funny story. The designer, Richard Alexander, he's one who did a great job there. And we had another idea. It was more sort of a concept with me looking like a Superman kind of concept. And when we did that design, and looked at it, I said, but you know what? This doesn't represent my brand. I am known for blazer, that type of look now.
Yeah.
Right? The red was always gonna be part of it. He wanted to add the red on the inside, but then we discussed it and said, you know what, just let's make the red stand out. And incidentally, red is my favorite color. It happened that we use the red.
Yeah.
Right? But so that's where it came from. And in using it, of course, looking at the colors, it represents the country I'm from as
Come
well.
on.
That was not intentional, but intentional.
Yes.
Meaning, it fitted in really well to the whole concept of what the book represents and where it comes from, and even the examples and stories that come out of it, of looking at personal brands from our own country, where I speak about, which I know you'll go deeper into.
I mean, don't put that pressure on, man. Don't put that. But we going in. We going in. Because, I mean, you have on the red hoodie, the book, and I love it. I'm from the 868, so
yes.
we going in.
Representing, yeah.
All right, Mr. Rudder.
Yeah.
Unleashing Your Unique.
Yeah.
First and foremost, what made you start this journey of discovering your unique?
I think it would have started, of course, being real small. The growing up, always family was always a big part of my life, and growing up, my mom would always spend time reading with us, and she would then ask us to read. No, I didn't used to like those times at all. Right? I'm sure, just didn't like it. And especially when she started to read with us, my sister and I, who were closer in age, I have two other brothers. I would read, but I would stumble a lot. I wasn't a fluent reader.
Okay.
Right? And of course, that would have added a level of frustration that in my mind, I was not really aware of what was going on in my head at the time. But I would say it started with the encouragement struggles, to grow into the man that I am, and not realizing that I was charting a different path, um, that I've only now started to really discover and clearly define.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd start there. Yeah.
What was some of your insecurities because of some of these things with the speech and not wanting to
Right.
connect with the reading and
Well, funny enough, I didn't feel insecure as a child. I didn't, and I know that I didn't feel insecure because of the support and encouragement of family. So
yeah.
so I would say the mental stress and pressure, I didn't even know what that really was. I just knew I was having a challenge, reading, but my mom didn't give up, but she kept pushing, right?
Yeah.
And of course, moving into primary school, um, you're doing your schoolwork, but still it was like a struggle because, yes, and a decent enough primary school, but still schooling for me was a struggle.
Right.
And it was through that path, I would say that it was frustrating because I was like, but people, why not in the, getting A's and things like that. So I would have questioned it,
Yeah.
but I still just went along. I didn't like to study too. Right?
I had that too
So
as well. I
yeah,
have that. I
yeah,
had
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that would have been part of it as well.
And did that proceed into tertiary education, secondary
Yeah,
school?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It did, and of course, hence came a part of me that I shared recently that we were talking about earlier. About the post that I made. Really, just sharing that secondary school, I was not in the top 20.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I was not.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
establish that.
Yeah.
I would, pops would drop me to school. I went Trinity Mocha, big up to Trinity Mocha. Drop me to school like about 6:30 and stuff. Okay, so go to school because my brothers went there too. Go to school early because you could spend time studying.
Yeah.
So they, I guess, was probably studying, but I
Yeah, you
wasn't
was not.
studying. But at times, they'll have guys who come early, have a small go with your plastic bottle. It was, you know about those days,
Yeah,
right?
boy.
Yeah, I actually broke my leg playing football that way in secondary school, but that's another story. So,
Yeah.
so been through that journey, and I wasn't settled to want to study.
Yeah.
And so it went into secondary school, and of course it went into when it came to exam time. Of course, if nothing going in, then nothing could come out. So I did exams. I got 2 passes, and I mean the frustration then started to step in. Then got another. I went again. I was allowed to repeat, right? Went again and got another 2 passes. But of course, stepping back a little bit, one of the things that I shared as well was, I remember a teacher, my brothers, they love books, right? They
Right.
love to
Yeah.
study. Did physics and chemistry for the degree and this kind of things,
Yeah.
maths,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At first degree and things. It's
So
like,
a lot
whoa.
of studying on their
I
side.
remember a teacher telling me, so why you not like your brothers? No, that really stood out there. That really stood out because I know he was trying to tell me, but how you come out so white?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or that was just a poor way of trying to encourage you.
Well, I didn't take it as that. That's how I
Yeah.
remember it. All
Yeah.
these years when
Yeah.
I remember something,
Yeah.
Okay, didn't come out right,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it did impact me. But again, I always will counteract. While that impacted me, I was never felt less than by my family. My whole family encouraged me to stick to it.
Yeah.
Right. And when I repeated well, of course you write it once,
Second time.
right? I repeated the second time, and I got two more. I'm like, okay, something. That was the moment. I was like, but Josh, it's time. So I remember going to it was a time called Digger Martin finishing school, and I at that time, and when I reached there, that was when the switch happened.
Okay.
The switch happened, and it's from there I got full slate subjects, and then I went on to do A-level maths, got that, and then my siblings went to UE. I chose to go to University of Southern Caribbean, which was CUC back in those days. Right. And mainly because I used to like to hang and chill and stuff like that. I was not a wayward child, but I like to socialize and hang out and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I told myself I can't go to UE because I'll get caught up in that life. And I didn't want to go to UE. So I said, I told the folks, I want to go to CUC because there's a spiritual undertone, overtone, I should say. It's part of the curriculum, it being a Christian faith-based institution, and that's where I went to do my first degree.
Okay.
And that was where the shift started to happen. Yeah.
So
So
I want to know why this is important to me, right? Because I want you to share with the audience what you do now, what's your title now.
Right.
So they'll understand the process.
Right.
Because
sure.
you talk about secondary school, you talk about the struggles, you talk about still having to go back and get the passes, and look at where you are at today. And Jesse was telling me that you're now in this season, you're ready to share. That process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so could you let us know all the titles that you carry? So.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of that, as I even talk about it, but really means nothing. But what I serve now as Director of Integrated Marketing and Communications at the University of the Southern Caribbean. So I'm responsible for the whole corporate communications, the whole brand of the university. Media production falls under my department as well. We do a lot of media production. So of course the setup right there gets me excited, because I'm in it as well,
Yeah.
So that's part of the portfolio, and of course as an entrepreneur, I have Tova Group Limited, where I really focus on helping brands and individuals to build their presence and brand and help them to gain clarity, through determining, of course, their why, but also out of that, okay, so you've determined this is the path that you want to take. This is who you are, your clarity, your message is clear. Let us now build out your brand and especially in this attention economy, right? And that really is my portfolio now. Of course, I've over the time I've switched from IT. IT was my first degree. Information systems.
Gotcha.
Was my first degree, and I switched over the years. I was in the music business for 10 years, right? And then, but there was also a time, even before the music business, I was a web designer, right? Before that. Yeah. And that's where I actually was introduced to branding, because one of my first jobs was working at BPTT. And BP, of course, the energy, oil and gas company, they're heavy on branding, and that was when I was introduced to brand style guidelines and all those things. In my head, while I was there as a web technologist, little did I know I was developing an understanding of what it means to build a brand, to be a brand, and reputation, the importance of reputation, and all of that. Yeah.
So in other words, you had real brains all the time.
Boy.
It's not
in a different kind of way.
In a different kind of way. And look, so I want to go back to how you said that there was a spark.
Right.
You went CIC, right?
No.
Trinity.
No disrespect to CIC.
Trinity. No disrespect. Yeah. And he said there was a shift.
Yeah.
there was a shift.
Yeah.
I want I want to understand what was that shift in that moment
Right.
to move from, okay, you wasn't really studying it
Yeah.
like that. You went you went and repeat the subjects,
Yeah.
and now we're in this space where there's a shift.
Yeah.
Explain that to us.
Well, that was because like I have to do this again, right? And it was like an urgency stepped in where I had to mentally say, okay, you need to get this done. Time to move.
Right.
So it was an urgency that hey, you need to focus and get this done because you have folks who you was in school with, wish you could have been growing with them as they move to sixth form and stuff, and
Yeah.
you just stay in one place. And that was when I was like, no, time to shift. And when I had to repeat, the second time, that was when I was a lot more focused in making sure that I got all the subjects. Yeah. So I did, I actually did over 2 subjects that I got 2s in and ended up getting 1s in them. I did art maths and I got that too. It's like, what? I could do this,
And what was happening in life around that season where you needed to double down on
yeah.
on the studies?
Well, I think too, I grew up in a spiritual, my mom very, very spiritual, and I always tell this story, right? She would have a lot of cassettes and stuff with a lot of religious music and stuff, and I used to erase it and put dub and all those kind of songs. But back then, you know what dub is, right? Well, if you don't know what dub is, it was before dance or what have you.
Yeah, and we might even have to explain what a cassette is in
Gosh, it's
2025.
true. So when you can put up a little photo of our cassette,
Yeah,
look
we
like,
do that
right?
too, we do that. Yeah.
And so like my spiritual conviction didn't even come at that stage. My spiritual conviction, while I was baptized, my spiritual conviction came right at that point. The shift started to happen spiritually when I had to repeat that second time.
Right.
So that I would say was a big transition moment.
Yeah. Okay. So now moving along with you do the IT,
Right.
then you switch across to many different things now
Yeah.
leading you to the position that you have now.
Yeah.
How did you now decide that here's what I want to focus more on for people to understand the personal branding side?
Right. So the beauty is all of it was tied to this moment and these moments that I didn't even realize, because while I was in web, I was looking at websites from a brand overall brand perspective. I didn't know what branding was at that time. It was not a buzzword, but I was learning to understand that I couldn't just design a site. I had to do it in context to the organization's message, their color scheme, all of those kind of things, right? So I started there, and then even when I shifted into the music industry before becoming CEO of COT, I was heading. I was manager, documentation, distribution, and IT. So it was understanding the rudiments of how to collect royalties, and then pay out royalties, and it was a systematic way. But while I was in that, I was still. It was still about looking at artists, creators, and helping them grow in their craft from the business side of things, right? And also as the image became part of it as well, you know. So it was all coming together to this point, and that is what that's where it all came together to even now.
Yeah.
So while I now in serving as I do now in marketing communications, branding was always I didn't know what it meant, but now I understand what it means because branding is pretty much your reputation,
Okay.
right?
Yes, break that down for us. Let's go into that
Right,
the branding
right.
conversation.
Yeah,
Let's start there.
Yeah, so your brand is really who you are, right? And what that really means is you could take a nice photo and put it up on social media and say this is me and this is my brand. They could have a logo and create a logo for your business and stuff like that. But what does that mean to an audience if you're not connected to the audience? One, it doesn't mean anything to them, but also the audience's perception of you could be different to what you have of yourself.
Yes.
Right. Which is why I always think about the Jeff Bezos comment. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we could have a whole concept of who we are.
Yeah.
Right. But what when Jerome leaves the room, when Josh leaves the room, what will people have to say about you and I? And which is the reason why our brand is so important, because it ties into our values.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It ties into our values. Everybody knows, and I talk about it a lot. I'm an Apple fan. Everything around me is Apple, right?
Right.
So I love Apple products. I also love Apple's innovation. I love the community of Apple. When you walk into Apple store, you know what that is like, right?
Yes.
And so that to me is a powerful brand. When you see the apple, that bitten apple, it means something to you because they've developed that based on time and effort and intentionality, right?
Yeah.
But that also applies to you as an individual now, and which is why I love to focus on personal brands because the principles still apply, right? So you, as I mentioned before, we are in an attention economy.
Yeah.
I have an IT degree. Somebody else will have an IT degree. Many people will have an IT degree.
Yeah.
But what makes me stand out from somebody else, especially now knowing that thousands of people coming out with degrees, thousands of people applying for jobs, thousands of people out there, but they're just not getting opportunities. What is gonna allow somebody to choose me over somebody else? And that's because that's where your brand and your personal brand comes in.
All right, so I'm gonna take a little different format here.
Take it.
Let me say I am coming in your office. So I go and come in for some consultancy here now.
Right.
Right? And my brand is Mentor Me.
Right.
Right? So we're going down that road. So I am here now. What's the first thing we're dealing with?
Right.
Pertaining to brand, personal brand. I want to build this brand.
You mentor me.
Yes.
All right. Well, firstly, I want to know who Jerome is. I need to know about you.
Right.
I need to build a connect with you, because you come in with a sweater saying mentor me. Else I would want to know, okay, what does mentor me? Right? So if you come into me and you start to talk about, well, we offer these services and we do this podcast and stuff like that, I'll say, okay, that's great. But if I haven't seen your podcast, if I don't know much about you, then I haven't bought into you yet. Meaning, I need to get to know who Jerome is, and by that, trust is built.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yes.
So once that trust is built, and like, okay, so while we have not connected as we are connected now, immediately, because of the circle here that has endorsed Jerome and what Mentor Me represents, and the people in here that I trust and believe in, immediately for me, I that translates into you. That barrier is broken because of your circle.
Right.
Is of people that are my circle.
Yeah.
And their focus is their thinking is similar to mine, and as a result, for me, it now, in chatting with you, I know we could connect on a lot of things.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it starts with trust and conversations. It has to start there, which is why I tell folks now, you cannot go on the days when I fell in love with web design while I was doing my degree. Back then, having a website was a real novel thing now, right? So I put out an ad, say, okay, I'm a web designer, these are my services. I started to get real calls. And that's how I actually became an entrepreneur even before finishing my degree. That was in the late 90s. I can't advertise like that again, one, because they have thousands of web designers
Yeah. On that
putting
website.
themselves out there. Why is somebody going to come to me and we are bombarded with so many ads now,
Yes.
right? Buy me, buy me, buy me. And nobody is interested because at the end of the day, everybody's doing it and everybody is offering it. What is going to make you
different. Yes.
different
Or unique,
to somebody
yes.
else?
Yeah. So second step. So first step, you're gonna be like, what's your story?
Right.
Tell me a story. Let me get to know what is happening.
Yeah.
And then you develop a level of trust.
Yeah.
What is the second step in
Right.
this process?
So then I would want to learn more about what Mentor Me is about, right? What's the vision? What's the plan? I would also look at what you're doing. So okay, you have a podcast. The podcast is reaching or has the potential to reach several people. So I would do my research too.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
I would do my research and then of course in doing that research, I would of course look to see go to your socials. And I did it even before coming there.
Yeah,
So one of the things. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When before even coming on the podcast, Jesse and I was talking and Jesse was telling me so that helps too.
Right,
But I
right.
had to do my research too.
Yeah. Helps having connections.
Right,
guys.
right.
Yeah.
But when he shared that, I already told him. Well, I went to Jerome's page and his content was phenomenal. I mean, I was drawn to your imagery, how you use lights because I'm in media. I was drawn to the energy,
Yeah.
that came out of what you shared on your socials. So for me, that in itself helped
Right.
make it even easier to connect with you because I'm in media too, and
Yes.
So while we may not have connected physically, we already connected. So then our trust level is built. So added to what you're doing now. So if you come into me again, hey Jam, let's talk about what we can make happen.
Yeah.
That has already, we reached that stage already because and practically
We
have.
And that's so important what you're saying because I didn't even see it like that because you're talking about the content that I have on my page and how you feel connected, and you could talk about the energy. And we sometimes, just in a general sense, if you're not being real intentional about your brand, you're not studying the messaging of the pictures you post or the content that you put out.
Yeah.
And if you have a brand, but you're not being intentional in terms of providing that footage, clip, picture around your stuff, you're missing the opportunity for somebody to even feel. Same thing you're saying about the feeling the end. And this is the first time I'm taking that into consideration. I hear you saying, I was like, what you see? You understand? So that's a really powerful point.
And that's one of the reasons why, as I mentioned, I put myself out there recently because even somebody that I know for years this week came up to me. She's on campus as well, and she said, I read your post, and it really touched me, and I really want to give you a hug. And I said, sure. Gave her a hug, and she said that really spoke to me. And because she was going through stuff even probably all the years, and I have a lot of people, of course, that are stuck because they feel they're not good enough. They feel they failed.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, they stop.
Yeah.
And don't move forward.
Yeah.
And a next friend said, hey, I saw your post and I'm going to go back to school. And to me, that's what matters. And why I'm saying that in context to what you were saying is that even though we may not physically connect with people, how we could use social media and the likes of it for the positive is just being authentic and intentional too.
Yes.
Right? And so that, you share nuggets and the reach that you could have just by that, you know.
So there's a part in your book that was talking about authenticity,
Yeah.
as you're talking about sharing your
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
and I feel that we don't consider our stories important,
Ooh.
right? My wife used to say, she don't say it that much now.
Right.
She'd be like, nothing to say. My life normal. My life, well, she wouldn't say boring, but she's like, why go on what we had to share?
Yeah.
And in sharing, because you shared that post, I saw the post, and I'm like, I connected with it. I remember going, have to do over subjects, then get through, and you're going through that whole process, and it's been a long time since I've seen anybody talk on that subject. Somebody that's be vulnerable and say,
Because yeah, it's like
I didn't get through the first
you
time.
don't
I
want to
went
put yourself
again.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how important is authenticity?
Let me tell you something. Our story is what makes us unique, and that is why we need to share it more because it helps you, it helps others, but the impact that story has on lives could transform a nation, but it could also create so much of opportunities and doors for you that you didn't even realize could happen. And that is why for me, and I always like to draw it back to me, I would have been more caged in terms of uncensored, but I don't need to be, because one, I'm not in a space of people being toxic or critical of me. I avoid those spaces. But even if it is somebody who wants to be critical, I will take it in strides because I've gone through that before.
Yeah.
But the purpose I have is to really impact lives so that they can transform. And to me, that is the focus and the purpose. That's the purpose of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why Unleash Your Unique is so important, because your authenticity, what we have to, let's look at it and I'll talk about it as well. A lot of times when we hear the word authenticity, it could also equate to, well, let me just share me and be me, and
Like me, I
this
think
is me and this is who I am.
Yeah.
Right? Now, yes, that's fine, but also you have to realize that is authenticity cannot be centered around yourself.
Okay.
It is, yes, it is about sharing you, but it is how you could impact lives positively to
Okay.
grow. Right?
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of intentionality with authenticity, but it is still being real. You're still being real.
Gotcha. 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 I like
Yeah.
that. So we in the office, we did step 1, step 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And after I shared about, well, after we build trust, we have
Yeah.
that conversation. You find out about myself, you find out about the brand,
Yeah.
right? What is the next thing that we have to
Yeah.
get into to build that personal brand?
Well, for me, so if I was to take you through that journey, right, I would want to understand more about you. So if it is I'm trying to help guide you
Yeah.
through your building your brand, I would want to understand your values, what your focus is as well, and I mean that in like, so for example, we believe we have to, and this is our principle. You know what this is, we are covering it.
Go on,
But
go
then
on.
we always believe we have to do to have, right? And then we become. And that's survival mode. And this is the principle I always talk about it, even with brother Jesse, in terms of who introduced me to Myron Golden, the principle. He has a principle, be, do, have. But what happens with a lot of us, we want to have, but we feel we have to do plenty to have, and then we will become. But what I will take you through really is, hey, I want to know what your purpose is in terms of your okay, there has to be Mentor Me, has to have an end. What is the purpose of Mentor Me? And I would want to take you through understanding what the goal of mentor me, but understand you, so that at least you are clear on the purpose of mentor me and what the end goal and end result of mentor me is, right? But once we've gone through that, and just to kind of finish on the point that I was making there, so you become, and then once you become, then you begin to do. So purpose. So this mentor me is about purpose.
Yes.
And a lot will be added because you're fulfilling the purpose because you've already become that, right? And so I will want to just understand that and be clear on that first and take you through that journey so that it's clear in terms of what the path is.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll go through some exercises, right?
All right, so
Yeah.
I want to pause right there because
Right.
I really want to understand, and we would
Yeah.
like to know what was your becoming and what that process looked like.
Well, bro, I'm still becoming, but what I would say is that before, if we sit down and talk here, I would talk about a lot of things that need to be done and all of those technical things. But I've stepped back to understand that let's focus on my purpose and understand why we're here first. Listen to. So for me, becoming really is about the essence of unleashing your unique, which is really about a practical guide to take people from obscurity to notoriety through several stages and steps,
Gotcha.
and take them through that journey. That's really what for me is about.
Yeah, because I didn't want people to miss your point of view of becoming.
Right.
Because when somebody here becoming, just in general, it's like, okay,
Yeah, because I hear it.
yeah.
But it's about purpose. It's
Gotcha.
about purpose. So before, okay, you read, okay, I'm a brand strategist, yes.
Yes.
I could, before seeing that, it's like, well, why could I labeling myself? Kind of feel weird because I feel like I'm promoting myself in a kind of way, imposter syndrome now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, I am. My purpose is really to help you as a brand grow and grow in several ways. We're in a noise economy. We're in an attention economy. How can you grow in that space?
Yeah.
How could you stand out in that space? What is your competitive advantage in that space?
Yeah.
I would take you through that, right? I would start there.
Yeah.
But also, I would when it comes to networking now, and somebody sits down and asks you, okay, so tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. You could give them a nice what you would have already crafted in your head.
Yeah.
Your elevator pitch, as it were.
Yes.
So that you could tell people, well, I help brands through, I help people and brands build through, and you give them what you do and why you do it, right?
Yes.
And persons will be able to say, okay, so this is what Jerem is about.
Yes.
Right. So yeah.
So this is you're saying this is part of the becoming.
Yeah.
Figuring out your purpose, navigating that elevator pitch about your purpose.
It's reaffirming your purpose, because we were all born with a purpose. Sometimes I think we were brainwashed to think we have to find our purpose, right? It was brainwashed as well as depending on how we were brought up.
Yeah.
But there are other cultures, Jewish culture. Kids growing up, they telling them to speak and being into who they are from small.
Yeah.
So other communities, we have to speak it into each other so that you could know that you were born with a purpose. God has blessed you with this purpose.
Yeah.
Let's bring it out. Let's bring it out.
Yeah. So you basically say we can't fake it to make it. You don't believe in that, or?
I don't believe in fake. A concept of faking to make it. Nah, I don't believe in fake, you see. Because if it is we pushing being authentic, we have to push that versus. But tell me what you
No,
think.
because some people say, because in the road to becoming, some people be like, they know what they would like to be, but they know how
No,
to
but
get
you
it.
are, you
They,
are. You're not faking. You are. You have to speak it. So that word is not fake.
it's not fake.
No, you are.
All right. I understand what you're saying. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're pressing in on the becoming
Yeah,
who
yeah,
you are.
are. You are. So that's why I say this is about, there's a philosophical side of the book. There's a spiritual side of it as well. But there's also a roadmap, practical part of it as well,
Yeah.
which is integral. So I know we talked a good bit about the philosophical as we're talking about now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And I'm not a mindset coach on others like my brothers and stuff who are not, right? That is for
Yeah.
them. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
for this journey that I want to take and I'm taking people through,
Yeah.
it's a practical guide to knowing once you've defined your purpose. You also remember part of the journey too is what it means. I talk about becoming a thought leader. And it means pretty much what that means is that you have to put in the work. If you're passionate about something,
Yeah.
you can't go out there and say, so I could come out there and say I'm a brand strategist.
Yeah.
But if I have no credibility to show that, show
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
I was like, that's just a
Yeah,
title,
he
that's
just
a word.
talking.
Yeah,
He
you're just talking.
Or he faking it.
Or you faking it. Or
Yeah.
you faking it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So I have to put in the work
Yeah.
to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Not just talk about it. It has to be practical examples as well. Which I use.
Yeah.
I one of the things that just to speak about in the book is I used some local Caribbean examples as well as international examples of persons who've built their brand.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go one local.
Right. Annette and Kanita James.
Yeah.
They have I speak about them. They're very open, as you know.
Yeah.
And they're very kicks and stuff like that. But
Yes.
one of the things I talk about is when they lost their
Yeah, the son.
baby
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
And the impact that had. They shared that story with
Yes. The world.
with the world.
Yeah.
They let people in.
Yeah.
It was traumatic.
Yes, it was.
But it was
Yeah.
also for them, it was healing as well.
Yeah.
And I talk about them especially from one, they are brand, couple brand, and what they do, they share, but our authenticity has opened up a lot of opportunities too, and doors for them as well by just sharing. So, of course, brands want to work with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Brands want to work with them, especially because of the authentic content that they're sharing. Their content is about letting people into every aspect, most aspects of their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, sometimes, we there's reality shows, which isn't even reality sometimes because it's still staged.
It's still scripted.
It's still scripted. But they let people into their life. But even with intentionality, they're authentic. But I'm sure in terms of some of these stories that they share, right? I mean, some of them joke. I remember they took their son to they were going to the cinema and the son fell asleep in the car. And when they reached, they pretended that they watched the show and they back in the car.
Yeah.
And saying, well, you were sleeping all the time, the show done.
Yeah.
This time they now reach the cinema and started to cry and stuff. But of course they tell away we kicks and it's joke.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was jovial and a lot of people connect with them, right? So I that was one example that I shared.
So I have a question
Sure.
there because I know there are other persons like myself that there's a fear in terms of what you share and trying to understand the galleries of what do I share and what do I not share.
Okay.
Because social media, once it go out there, it's out there.
Right. And that ties into your personality. First you have to really, some people, Anil, you could see the kind of personality
Yes.
he has,
Yeah.
his kicks and stuff like that. So it's a particular type of thing he would share. But for you, you may be more reserved. So and your approach may be a more serious entrepreneurial. You focused on
Yeah.
business. Let's say for example a man like Kevin LaFleur, who big
Yes. Yeah.
who big
Yeah. Business and media and
clinical,
business.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, he's when you have a conversation with Kevin, you know that it's about business, it's about
Yes.
so
Yes.
so your conversations might be about, hey, what property we could flip tomorrow. It may have those kind
That
of
is itself.
conversations
Yes.
with
Yes.
Kevin, but he will still probably talk about some of his vulnerabilities as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But so there's that because of his personality type.
Right.
That's what
Makes
it
sense.
is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember we have like comedians like
Yeah.
the Kyle and the others,
Yeah.
right? Who that's their brand because
Yeah.
this is who they are.
Yeah.
So, but what they do is the content that they curate is very intentional. It might be consistent and may feel and is natural to who they are.
Very natural,
But
yeah.
it's natural, intentional still because they still would plan. Some may be planned, some might be very organic, but it's still
Yeah.
very intentional.
So, what do you suggest for persons who want to intentionally produce something naturally as content?
Right. Well, first you have to look at what you're passionate about, right? So they have certain conversations I can't have because it's just not me.
Got you.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Me
I'm
too.
not. I could talk nonsense and things like that, but I'm not a total kicks man. I
Right.
like okay that there's a time and place for that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But if we haven't let's go deep into particular topics. Let's talk about different things. We will then talk. We will then discuss it. But for me, if say it's you, I would first want to look at your personality, and you have to look at your personality and stretch it to her, because sometimes we may look at our personality and think this is who I am, but there are
Right.
other aspects of you that you want to bring out to the public as well.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
But it really, to me, the ultimate question is what gets you up in the morning, right? So like for you, your social media showed me serious high energy, right? But so it's a flip of both,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so you could go serious. You could also we could sit down here and talk real kicks.
Real kicks. Real kicks.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and then we say, okay, so why not form some content that centers around these various aspects of who you are?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So for
that
sure.
makes sense.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that feedback.
Yeah.
I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah.
So there's some exercises you was mentioning earlier on
Mm-hmm.
that will be part of the process.
Yeah.
You want to try that with also it requires movement.
No,
alright.
don't require movement. I think probably one of where we could probably go, boy. Let's go in terms of your value proposition, your unique value proposition.
Sounds
Right?
heavy.
Yeah, because
Sounds heavy.
that really speaks to your UVP, which is your unique value proposition, really speaks to why would I want to come to you for what you offer versus somebody else. So let's go through that. What is the differentiator from Mentor Me versus another podcast?
All right. My answer would be I am a person who is not established as an interviewer, but I'm on the road to becoming that. And the difference is I am allowing myself to become on camera. So that's what will make the format different for me
Right.
in this field.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
Sound like something?
Yeah.
Alright,
Something like something,
Alright.
and that really is the starting point. So we will go through how to craft that, from looking at, okay, what does this world need?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the world needs mentoring,
Yes.
right?
More so,
And
more so. I mean, I know
yes,
we're
no,
doing
no,
the
no,
test and
no,
thing, but
yeah. Talk, yeah.
so for me, I haven't had the opportunity of seeing local men have discussions on pertinent issues of life, right? And when I was going through some difficult times, I was looking for that insight, that wisdom, right? Maybe through a conversation or through mentorship. And obviously, from the States, you could put on the YouTube channel, you'll see conversations going, you see podcasts happening. And I was desirous of hearing that from a local perspective, from the Caribbean, somebody who sounds like me, looks like me, who understands the movement of our culture. And I did not see that. So that is my why. I feel like it's about time that somebody start that
So then you
process.
have a niche then. You have a targeted audience already.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's your targeted audience?
Um, so for me, it would be persons from 18 to 35 from the Caribbean, men,
Right.
mainly men from the Caribbean, coming out of school,
Right.
going into life, trying to navigate where you would like to be in terms of job, purpose,
Right.
spirituality,
Right, right,
family.
right. Yes. Yeah. So I think you absolutely have identified what makes Pentomy unique, right? And so that's one of the areas we'll
No, no,
definitely
yeah,
start.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
definitely will start there. I think we onto something.
No, yeah.
We onto something for
Yeah,
sure.
and I
Go
want to
ahead.
let the audience know why this is important. I want to, while I'm using myself, not that I rehearse this, is that I want to show the world the importance of what you do and the questions that you ask, because I must pay homage to persons who ask me these questions, persons like Jesse McBarrow, Kevin LaFleur, Pastor Dave
Big
Cropper.
names,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
names.
So if it wasn't for these persons really honing in on like, hey, why are you doing this? What you're putting out another podcast? Okay, what makes it special? Just like what you're asking,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, what makes it
Yes.
unique? Yeah.
So that's why this is really, really important. Now, for me, as you're doing this, because I would say, as much as I feel kind of confident in understanding my why, I am still, and maybe I do have the answer, but I'm not probably looking for clarity in what makes that why unique. So I think I'm being vulnerable enough to do this on camera to kind of become or unleash my unique, but I don't know if I'm there yet. And is it just an ongoing?
Yeah, it
It's just
is.
ongoing.
It's
But is
ongoing.
there a place, especially in your field of personal branding, where you feel like, yeah, that person gets it. That is very unique. They should hone in and lean into that brand voice.
I if it comes and that's why it's so important to be consistent, right? And I there's somebody else I talk about in my book, a gentleman by the name of Jesse McBarrow.
Okay,
Right,
okay. This
I
one
actually talk
real
about him
famous boy.
in my
Wow.
book,
Wow.
and I the way I spoke about him was his consistency showing up every Monday to a group of persons who want to be
Yes.
guided and mentored through
Yeah.
Sunrise City.
City. Yeah. Yeah.
I was I went into sharing that in the book because I've seen by being consistent, one, there's growth in consistency. There's also growth in you being your own competitor, so that today's or this week's session was great, but the other one has to be even greater. So there's that consistency, sorry, to grow
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
grow the product, the experience, but also importantly to grow your audience, right?
Yeah.
And and to see what it has become, but to see where he has come from, where it started. There's a lot of fruit
Yeah.
as a result of that consistency.
Yeah.
And in the context of what you've asked, Same thing with Mentor Me. That consistency that you're placing to make sure this happens every Thursday. There's a taping to ensure that the session you have a full series
Yeah.
required a lot of dedication and consistency, and you have achieved that, right? So, and I'm sure you're already thinking about what next. So that to me is really what it's about. Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
didn't see that way, but that's good consistency.
And that's just a stress on that point again. We have to be our own competitor. I know we look at others, which is fine to be gauges, but to me it's really about okay, yeah. And at the office, I say okay, we had some successes. Let's see how we could take it up a
A
notch now.
notch. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that
We
we almost out of time.
right,
So
right.
I want to make sure that people understand the key message from this book, and I give you 2 minutes to really give them the key message
Right.
from this book in terms of unleashing your
Yeah,
unique.
yeah. So again, unleashing your unique is a roadmap to guide you to become that man, that woman that can have a great impact on the world. While that may sound general, the book is really a step by step process of identifying your purpose. But while you identify that purpose, we take you through a process of how you craft that into putting in the work. You're required to put in the work. To become a thought leader is not just by saying I'm a thought leader. It's by becoming somebody that impacts lives in a real way. So it requires you to build your credibility. It requires you to take time to build your confidence. The book is a confidence builder, right? So that when you step in a room and somebody asks who you are and what you do, you could confidently tell them who you are and what you do, because you're about not getting from others but giving to others. So the book is to teach you to give to others in a practical way as well, and also it's about guiding you through building relationships, building networks and community as well. The reason we were intentional about calling it Unleash Your Unique, building a brand of impact, influence, and income, because it is so important for us to do all that we can to have an impact on others and build influence, but also it's a way to build income as well, right? So we also look at how you could monetize your brand, how you could protect your brand. I also talk on a quick point on that is reputation is so important. That's why your brand is tied to your reputation. And ultimately, the book is about legacy. Your brand is about when you're no longer here, will you be missed? Right? This book is about guiding persons through all those stages, but really to be that person God has called you to be, so that when your time on earth is no more, you would have left such a beautiful, amazing legacy that will carry through others for years to come until Christ comes.
Lastly,
Yes.
what do you want the next generation to remember you by?
I would want the generation next or now to just remember me as somebody who's here to pour into them so that their lives could be transformed into beautiful human beings. That to me is where passion and success is really about. It's about ensuring that you were here, but you are now at a better place, a higher place than you were once. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much,
Hey.
Sir Josh Rudder.
Pleasure.
Perfect opportunity. Where they could find this? They need to
Okay,
get this.
sure. So, Unleash Your Unique is available. If you're outside of Trinidad and Tobago, it's available on Amazon, Kindle version, paperback version as well. If you're in Trinidad and Tobago, it's available. Go to joshrudder.com. You'll be able to purchase it online, and we have partnered with our good friends Trinibox to do delivery straight to you if you need it. And we also do merch if you're looking at the merch as well too. Unleash Your Unique, we really want that to be the mantra, because your unique is what sets you apart.
And for the persons who are looking to build a personal brand, where can they find you?
Right. You can reach out to me. Visit joshrudder.com as well. You'll see contact information there. All my social media handles are there as well. Feel free to message, any guidance you need. That's what it's about. That's why I'm here. So we're here to help build you.
All right, guys, tell me in the comments, what are some of the things that you do to build your personal brand, and some of the questions you would have. And I probably have a part 2 to this when I get the feedback. And that's a perfect time for you to like, subscribe, and share so we can continue this and have these conversations going. I am Jerome Birch, and this is the Mentor Me podcast. You guys have a good one.
Take care.
Yeah.
Hey, pleasure, man. Pleasure. Let me sign a copy for your one. There's your copyright.
Oh my word.
There's your copyright.